I can't promise you that any of the players I'm going to talk about this week on Beat the Breakout will be instant studs like Brooks Lee last week and Ben Rice the week before. But I know they all have a good chance to make an impact at their major league level. And in fact, a couple of them just did. We're going to spend a lot of time in the desert today. But first, let's get to a guy who, like I just mentioned, made an impact in his very first game. We can't always grab these guys right before they get the call because we don't know when it's going to happen. But Rhys Hines, outfielder for the Cincinnati Reds, was just recalled and in his very first game was hitting eighth and playing right field. And all he did was crush his first major league home run. In fact, he went 2 for 3, and this is a big boost to a team that needs help in a lot of ways. Look, the Reds are obviously not contenders this year. This is a great chance for Hines to prove himself at the big league level. And really at this point, they just need warm bodies because so many injuries. I mean, since the beginning of the season, but at outfield especially, it's been a revolving door. TJ Friedl, again, back on the injured list. Stuart Fairchild, Nick Martini, those guys are out. Jake Fraley away from the team. So Hines gets a shot and immediately has delivered. This is a power hitter. That is his calling card for sure. This guy is 6'4", 215, still going to fill out that frame even more. The power is legit. Last year at AA, he hit 23 home runs. This year at AAA, already had 13 home runs. Now, the downside here with a lot of these sluggers is the K rate. And for Hines, it is a legit concern. The strikeout rate, well, basically it's been above 30% at every stop throughout the minors. There's a good chance this will carry over to the majors as well. In fact, usually it's the first thing you see any hitter struggle with as far as their first taste of major league pitching is the contact rate, the swing and miss. With a slugger, even more so. For a guy who really didn't have a great plate discipline mark throughout the minors, yeah, there could be a lot of strikeouts in his future. But the trade-off there is that massive power upside. And so you're going to have to decide in your league, is this somebody that can help you? Batting average is probably not going to be that great. If you're in an OPS league, a points league, yeah, you're probably going to want to pass here because I don't know if the power can outweigh all those strikeouts. And even guys who do have big strikeout rates can still have good weeks, and their average can help you if he's hot. Right now he's hot, first game, but still, this guy could make an instant impact. He already has. So I'd say take a chance here if you need the power. Another player you may have seen in action on Monday is starting pitcher Yilbert Diaz of the Diamondbacks. Going to talk about a couple Arizona players, but let's start with the one who actually is on the roster right now. He got to start against Atlanta. I actually can't tell you I know exactly the outcome of that game because right now he's through 5 innings. Got off to a rough start in the very first inning, gave up a home run to Austin Riley, but since then settled down big time. Right now he's through 5 frames. He's only given up that 1 run on 3 hits. He's got 3 strikeouts. So definitely looking like he can handle the pros. Despite not being a top prospect per se, he's number 16 according to MLB on the Diamondbacks farm system, although on Fangraphs some of the prospect hounds there have him much higher, have him as a top 10 prospect. But either way, he was really good in the minors. So far, he posted a 3.27 ERA, 1.23 whip at the AAA level with a 30% strikeout rate. And that walk rate, of course, walks are always the issue with young pitchers. It has declined for 2 straight seasons as he's moved up levels, got it under 10% at AAA. Diaz has an excellent fastball and also a plus slider and curveball. Some people think he's destined for the bullpen long term, but right now his first taste as a starter, he's acquitting himself very well, and the D-backs are in the market for a starter. Now, when I say that, I don't necessarily mean the trade market. In fact, it wouldn't be shocking if this D-backs team does move some pieces. Right now, they're just kind of in limbo at 500. Obviously, a team that after last year's World Series run, kind of surprising. You'd think they'd want to go all in and try to make another run, but I don't know if it's happening this year. I don't think they'll be sellers necessarily, but look, a guy like Jordan Montgomery could be tempting to move. He's on the IL, though, for the time being. Merrill Kelly hasn't pitched since mid-April, another veteran that may or may not be in this team's future. And then, of course, Eduardo Rodriguez hasn't pitched all year. Look, these guys are veterans that continue to be hurt, so they need Diaz. And Diaz, so far, is delivering. Whether or not Diaz sticks with the D-backs, there's actually another pitcher in their system I like even better. And in fact, you may have seen that Christian Mena got 1 start on July 3rd, before he was promptly sent back down. Didn't last too long, but he's going to be back up eventually. In that one start, Mena only lasted 3 innings, gave up 4 earned runs, mainly thanks to the 2 home runs that he allowed. But I actually like his upside better than Yulber Diaz. Mena could definitely rack up strikeouts. At one point at the Double-A level, back when he was in the White Sox farm system, he had one of the highest swinging strike rates in the entire minor leagues. He's got a wicked curveball that could definitely be an out pitch at this level. Of course, control is the issue. Look, it's only 21 years old, very young. We will see him back up with the D-backs at some point. The question is he going to be right after the trade deadline, or are we going to have to wait till September? Definitely a team you want to take a really close look at and see what happens in the coming weeks, and Mena is one of the pitchers I'm looking at most closely. But staying in Arizona, the player I'm most anticipating when he gets the call is a guy I talked about way back early in the season. It's Davison De Los Santos. Now, De Los Santos, you may remember, was a Rule 5 pick from the Cleveland Guardians. They took a chance on him, thought maybe he could hold down first base, but after a rough spring, they sent him back, so he's with Arizona, and Cleveland is probably regretting that right now, looking at the way De Los Santos has performed. Again, I discussed all this way back because in April, De Los Santos was the Texas League Player of the Month. He hit .376 with 7 home runs and 18 RBIs. So checking back in now, been moved up to the AAA level. Let's see how he's doing. Let's see, the month of June, hit .327 with 10 home runs and 28 RBIs. Yeah, he's definitely knocking on the door, just waiting for an opportunity. So, again, back to the whole Arizona Diamondback trade situation. It's hard to say right now which way they're going to go, but there are a lot of very strong rumors that are connecting Christian Walker, who's going to be a free agent, to the Houston Astros. We know Houston's going to buy, right? They're definitely all in. First base is their weak spot because Jose Abreu is just done, right? John Singleton, not the long-term answer. So for a team like the Astros, this makes sense. Take a chance on Walker, who's the cleanup hitter, first baseman, and basically the best offensive threat in that Arizona lineup. If they decide to move Walker, that clears a path for Davison De Los Santos. And even if Walker doesn't get dealt, which Arizona might want to keep him, Eugenio Suarez at third base right now, he's already lost his starting job at one point. He's struggling. He could get shipped off for a minor prospect just to get him off that roster. And then that clears a path because De Los Santos has played both at first and third base. Either way, it's just inevitable. This guy's crushing the minors. He's going to get a shot at some point. Massive power upside. So De Los Santos, a strong stash in any format. All right, and finally out of Arizona in the desert and back to the Cubs bullpen. I've talked about this recently. This is one bullpen I'm definitely speculating on. Their closer to start the season was Adbert Alzolay. He's in the IL and was terrible even before then. Hector Neris, the veteran, hasn't been that great. This team now all of a sudden is last place in their division. Very disappointing, but the Cubs, like all teams, need somebody to get saves. So let's look at a guy who was just called up, and that's Hunter Biggie. Look, if nothing else, it's very obvious you should pick him up just so you can change your team name to Biggie, 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 can't you see, or something like that. Well, they called him up for a reason. This guy has been great so far as a closer in the minors. He's only given up 1 earned run in 11 2/3 innings, got 6 saves in 9 appearances. And across those 11 innings, 19 strikeouts. Now, you're not going to find him on any top prospects list, not even within the Cubs organization, not even on the radar, but that doesn't matter when it comes down to it. A guy this year has looked good. There's a need here on this team. I did speculate on Porter Hodge, who has looked good since he's called up, and he's got a couple of holds, but maybe won't be the closer. I don't really know who's going to be the closer for the Cubs for the rest of the season, but I have a feeling it might not be Neris or anybody who was already on that bullpen when the season started. So if you're in leagues with deep bullpens or that count holds, or you just really want to speculate on saves, like, a lot of us might need to do that because some of these current closers aren't going to be closers much longer. Biggie's definitely a name to remember. Keep making those smart stashes and also keep making those smart trades. Think about some guys who have struggled lately. You're panicked, but what do you do with them? Do you buy low? Do you sell low? Do you avoid? Well, I break that all down in this latest video.